According to a foreign trade expert, the Brexit uncertainty will continue to weigh on German-British trade. By the way, you should stay tuned until the end if you don't want to miss anything interesting. And if you don't want to miss anything at all, just subscribe to my channel and click the little bell. Only then you can get a notification. The urgently needed optimism is still missing, said Mark Lehnsfeld from Germany Trade and Invest, the GTAI, in London to the German press agency. But there are signs that speak for stabilization. The expert named the decision of the British government on Thursday to postpone the expansion of customs controls by 6 months to January 2022 as an important step. Well, before I quote him, I must say, of course, it's convenient for companies that nothing changes. But the decision was made, so there have to be changes. And the companies are happy about this. The governments definitely are not. But the association, of course, will like it. Overall, this relieves the burden on German exporters, especially medium-sized companies and food exporters, said Lehnsfeld. The decision also does justice to the concern that otherwise there would have been a threat of shortages in some foods from April 1st. However, British exporters are not benefiting from the postponement. The EU has been required full customs formalities since January 1st. GTAI is a federally owned company that provides information on foreign markets. This Friday, the UK Statistics Bureau announces January trading figures. It is the first month since the completion of Brexit that means the UK's exit from the EU customs union and internal market. The Federal Statistical Office had already presented January figures. According to them, German exports to the kingdom fell by 29% to 4.3 billion euros compared to the same month last year. Imports even fell by 56.2% to 1.6 billion euros. However, Lehnsfeld expects a recovery. The conditions for German exporters are good because the corona burden on the economy is dwindling and the British economy is picking up speed again. In certain industries, there are good sales opportunities, said Lehnsfeld. A strong expansion of the offshore wind energy business in the kingdom, which is already the largest offshore wind market in the world, high investments in new state hospitals and transport infrastructure programs worth billions. And that makes the island attractive even with a customs border. The trade will therefore settle in again. The level remains questionable though. The Farmers Association of Wales has sharply criticized the British government for its decision to suspend custom controls on imports from the EU longer than previously planned. There are already unequal conditions of competition which strongly favor EU companies, said the head of the Association of Farmers Union of Wales, Glyn Roberts. And now the British government has extended this benefit by at least 6 months. The government in London is trying to make up for its mistakes in the Brexit talks with the EU, but to the detriment of farmers in Wales. It is extremely difficult and expensive to export to the EU, said Roberts, referring to bureaucracy and EU customs controls. But it is incredibly easy for companies in the EU to export to the UK because the UK government has waived the need for equal controls at our borders. Since the final Brexit with the exit from the EU internal market, the EU has been controlling British food imports, of course. The Farmers Association pointed out that British food deliveries to the EU collapsed by 64% in January because of checks and non-tariff trade barriers. For its part, the UK had announced that it would control food imports after a transition period from April 1st. But now the government in London has announced that it will extend this phase until October 1st. This should give companies more time to adjust to the new rules. Traders had complained of major problems due to pre-notification requirements and health certificates. Industry associations, however, praised the British extension. The Road Haulage Association emphasized that the scheme would give dealers and freight forwarders valuable additional time. Manufacturers Association Make UK spoke of a welcome recognition of the difficulties that manufacturers are faced with. Make UK called on the EU to take similar action on its part, and that definitely will not happen. And I have some information on Brexit consequences from a Dutch point of view. I said I always wanted to bring some from practice and from local stuff. I had Swiss, I had German, I had different kinds of German, and now it's Dutch. Last year in the Netherlands, Van Geest Internationaal, VGI, completed construction on their newest building. This exporting company had already built new premises of just under 3,000 square meters in 2015. Barely 4 years later, they added another 1,900 square meters. But last year wasn't an unqualified success for the business. Don't worry, we are doing well. We were well in the black last year. We are just used to doing better. COVID-19 and Brexit pose challenges. We need our business spirit. Was I concerned? No, but we stay alert, said Philip Van Geest. Brexit has a huge impact. Trade has become more expensive, but besides that, it's resulted in a lot of paperwork. From the Dutch side, we prepared as well as we could for Brexit. As exporters, we have a link to the carriers like DG Daily Fresh Logistics and Freightliner Systems. The KCB, that's the Dutch Quality Control Bureau, is to introduce declaration and phytosanitary certificate requirements. That's from April 1st. But we'll find our way around that too. In the United Kingdom, however, they weren't prepared at all, said Van Geest. They work with a very outdated system. That means we have to enter all the export documentation manually. We can do that. We're even good at it. But that's an administrative job. Some kind of customs union would be great. That will cut out all this paperwork. I'm calling on the Dutch government to ask the British government about this. Well, I can tell you they won't do that. It also doesn't help that orders have to be closed much earlier. That service is suffering because of all the red tape. It is almost impossible to load a single extra pallet of tomatoes at 11:30 anymore, says Philip. Added to that, our product prices have increased considerably. Documentation can cost anything from 15 cents to €1 per box. That depends on the order size. We have products from third countries that we re-export from the Netherlands. Extra import tariffs apply to these, so these items' costs are even higher. For Moroccan tomatoes, for example, the tariff is 8%. That all adds up. That was reason enough for VGI not to fix prices for the entire season last year. Nevertheless, the exporter isn't concerned that the Netherlands' export position will be compromised. And he continues, the UK is by no means self-sufficient. The cultivation projects, partly started from the Netherlands, aren't all equally successful. It's not Russia where Putin just orders a few hundred hectares to be expanded. Things are a bit different in England. We also have no ambition whatsoever to participate in some kind of greenhouse project, continues Philip. Nor would this fit in with the company. VGI has been working with Dutch greenhouse vegetable growers for years now. That's via the large growers associations in the Netherlands. These lines are supplemented by fixed supplies from unaffiliated farmers. That's for specific products. We are confident about the new greenhouse vegetable season. The advantage is that in our trade we work with healthy food. That's become more important these days. Last year, greenhouse vegetable sales were reasonably good. I have no reason to fear a major dip this year. In 2020, certain products got hit the hardest. These were things like cresses and the more luxurious exotics, explains Van Geest. The coronavirus pandemic has certainly affected us. Some of our clients supply food services, caterers, schools, and institutions. These all stopped functioning last year. In Germany, the government aid is so good, they are less likely to look for alternative sales. In England, these businesses switched much quicker. That was to options like delivery and assembling vegetable boxes. This Dutch export company is going to try and broaden its sales scope. Currently, 80 to 85% of our trade still goes to the United Kingdom and Germany. We'd like to spread our sales further to places like France and Scandinavia. We're not so keen on Eastern Europe, admits Philip. VGI has also begun putting together consumer vegetable boxes. The first time we sold 1,100 boxes. That went well, but the volume gradually decreased. But we mainly wanted to send people a message that it was ridiculous that the store's shelves were empty while our warehouse was full. We've never focused on supermarkets. I recently heard that a supermarket is fining their suppliers. That's if their deliveries are short or late due to COVID-19. That reinforces the value of our strategy to me. Philip and his brothers, Wim and René, run the company. Their father, Rien van Geest, founded MLS in 1974. What was the name then? Over the years, the company has grown into an organization with more than 60 employees. Dad Rien still comes to work for a few hours every day. He is VGI, and we are grateful that he's still here every day, says Philip. And if you want to be informed in the future, please subscribe to my channel. Auf Wiedersehen.